read three poems that have to do with writing or the process of language and its mysteries and its kind of riddles and the unlanguage, as I sometimes think of it, the secrets behind things that aren't quite said. A poem from each book. And the first one is about Eve, from Eve Names the Animals, and she renames the animals and birds, spoken in her voice. Eve names the animals. To me, lion was sun on a wing over the garden. Dove, a burrowing, blind creature. I swear that man never knew animals. Words he lined up according to size, while elephants slipped flat-eyed through water, and trout hurtled from the underbrush, tusked and ready for battle. The name he gave me stuck me to him. He did it to comfort me for not being first. Mornings while he slept, I got away. Pickerel hopped on the branches above me. Only Spider accompanied me, nosing everywhere, running up to lick my hand. Poor Finch. I suppose I was woe to him, the way he'd come looking for me, not wanting either of us to be ever alone. But to myself I was Palomino, raven, fox. I strung words by their stems and wore them as garlands on my long walks. The next day I'd find them withered. I liked change. And from my book, Capture the Flag, I'll read a poem called Inoculation. And this is about how words can be kind of riddles. It's a conversation between Cotton Mather and his slave, Onesimus. He happens to quote William Blake at the end, but that's just an anachronism I tucked in there for fun. Inoculation. Cotton Mather studied smallpox for a while instead of sin. Boston was rife with it. Not being ill himself, thank Providence, but one day asking his slave, Onesimus, if he'd ever had the pox, to which Onesimus replied, yes and no. Not insubordinate or anything of the kind, but playful, or perhaps musing, as one saying to another, consider how a man can take inside all manner of disease and still survive. Then graciously, when Mather asked again, my mother bore me in the southern wild. She scratched my skin and I got sick, but lived to come here, free of smallpox as your slave. And finally, as a teacher of poetry, it's a little bit of a paradox that I read this one, but it's about the unsaid, the really unsaid. It's about Harpo Marx, who, as we all know, said nothing. But the more I read my own poem, the more I see it could be about a poem or the making of poems. It could be a lot of things. Harpo. That's right. When words don't say it, stop talking. Become beautiful and strange. The one of sudden arrivals announced by a horn. A fawn seen between trees. Pluck your thin music, your eyes getting rounder, face changing like clouds. And when lies don't work, even silent ones, get caught silver-handed with everything tucked up your sleeve.